Start by laying all of the parts from the box on the ground. Take 2 curved poles and join them together. Join all of the other curved poles together so they are in pairs on the ground. Take a W-shaped pole and insert a leg pole onto one end. Press the button in to connect. Now put the other leg pole in the same way. Continue to insert all of the straight poles onto the W-shaped poles. Take one W-shaped section and insert it into a curved section. Make sure the buttons on the straight poles are on the same side as the holes on connections of the curved poles. Now do the same for the other 4 sections. Turn over the completed frame section so they face the correct way up and place them roughly where they will be once joined together. Lift 2 of the frame sections up, holding one in each hand, and join the 2 sections together as tight as possible to make sure they hold in place. Continue to join the frame sections until they are all together. Now take the springs and, using the end with the longer hook, place all the springs into the holes. Unfold the mat roughly into position. Align the logo on the mat to be parallel to one of the W-shaped poles of the frame. Connect one spring to hold the mat in place and connect the end with the longer hook to the frame. Count out around 8 to 10 buckles by aligning your hand with the buckles. Keep attaching the springs to the frame by moving in an anti-clockwise direction until there are 8 springs connected and evenly spaced around the frame. To use the spring tool, first remove the spring and connect it to the mat so you can pull it away from the mat with the spring tool. If you would like to install the safety net, skip the rest of this section and watch the safety net installation. Hook the remaining springs onto the mat in an evenly spaced manner to avoid the mat pulling to one side of the frame. Now place the pads on the trampoline with the stamp facing the same direction as the logo on the mat. Turn the pads around until the holes in the pads align with the joints in the curved sections of the frame. To fix the pads to the frame, unhook the nearest spring at the loop in the pads and push the spring through the loop and reattach the spring. Repeat until the pads are completely fixed to the trampoline. Congratulations! You have finished assembling your trampoline. For trampoline net installation, continue with the video. Start by laying the net out on the trampoline and find the seam to the left of the doorway. Align the hole at the base of the seam with the first spring to the left of the joint. Push the hole in the net over the buckle on the mat and attach the spring into place. Continue to move your way clockwise around the trampoline, pushing the net over the buckles and leaving a net hole for each spring that is already attached. Now attach all the springs in an even manner until they are all fixed onto the frame. Continue your way around the trampoline so the mat is pulled evenly. Remember to fix the net onto the mat where you attached the first springs. Use the screwdriver to pry out the plastic plugs that are pressed into the frame joints. Do this for all the other plugs. Place the pads on the trampoline with the stamp facing the same direction as the logo on the mat. Turn the pads around until the holes in the pads align with the joints in the curved sections of the frame. To fix the pads to the frame, unhook the nearest spring at the loop in the pads and push the spring through the loop, then reattach the spring to the frame. Continue moving around the perimeter of the frame until they are all attached. Take one of the long net poles and insert a hook bolt into the middle of the pole. Screw a nut onto the end of the bolt and use the spanner to tighten. Make sure the nut is screwed on straight to avoid damaging the thread. Slide all 3 of the covers over the foam covering the poles. Take one of the shorter net poles and slot the end with the smaller diameter inside the top of the lower pole. Turn the poles around until the holes are aligned. Make sure the elastic end of the hook is on the same side of the pole as the one previously installed. Fix the third hook bolt through the top of the shorter net pole, ensuring that the elastic is on the same side as the other net bolts. Attach all of the hooks into all of the remaining poles. Slot one completed net pole into the frame by guiding it through the safety padding, then into the hole in the joint. Turn the pole until the screw hole can be seen. Use the screwdriver to insert a screw into the joint and continue the same process for all of the poles. Starting with the plastic buckles at the top of the net, attach them to the hooks on the top of the poles. Do this for all the remaining buckles and continue your way around until they are all attached. Congratulations! You have finished installing a net onto your trampoline.